everybody, thanks for joining me. Today's tutorial is just going to be my showing you how I hold my hook and how I hold my yarn. Now, I didn't realize that there were so many of my friends and followers that were very interested in the technique in which I use personally to hold my yarn and my hook when I am crocheting. In my opinion, though, and I will talk some during this, in my opinion, there's no right or wrong way to hold them. It's just all about how you take in the concept and what works the best for you. What may work best for some may not be the best for others, which in my case, I do not hold either one in a normal way. I was never at that point whenever I was 8 and first learned to chain, which when I was 8 years old, that's all I learned how to do was make a chain, and the rest I learned 4 years ago on my own when I started up my crochet business and my YouTube channel. So basically that's what I'm just going to show you in this tutorial, is the technique in which works best for me. Like I said, I have a lot of people that have messaged me over the last couple years wanting to know how I do it and how my tension works out, and how I manage to get, well, number one, how I manage to crochet as fast as I do. But I've tried to hold my hook a different way. I've tried to hold my yarn and have a different way of managing that. And I can do it. I can do it several different ways. But mind you, I don't do it as well. And also, I like the speed that I have. I manage to get things done quite quickly, and that gives me a very good sense of accomplishment and pride in the work that I do for myself and my business. So it just stuck with me over the years, and that's how it's done. Okay, so basically I just done a simple chain, and if you notice how I've always held my hook in my tutorials, I don't hold the hook like you see most have done, which is like this, or to some extent. You know, I don't feel that I have control over the loop that's on the hook. So if I were to try and go into the stitch and work a single crochet, I find myself struggling. And I find myself doing most of the work with this hand, not this hand. This hand holding the hook is the one that should be doing most of the work. And as you can see, I end up going a lot slower. This just would not work for me. And then I would have to be wrapping with this hand physically, where I don't do that in the manner in which I crochet now. And then my piece here working like this is kind of wobbly in and out of my hands. So I like to have control of every part of the project that I'm working on. Okay, so basically, as you've seen over the years, I hold it, I guess, like you would, some people would hold a spoon, or, you know, a shovel. You can call it as you like. So what I did is I just done a single crochet piece, and then I just hold it with all 4 fingers, and I control the loop with my thumb. And then if I go into the next loop and pull it up, and then I just work it across. And to me, I have total control of what's going on, and that's just how I use the hook. You know, my right hand, which of course I do not teach or instruct left-handed because I'm not left-handed. I know a lot of instructors that do teach multi-handed, and that's fine and dandy, but I do not. I learned right-handed. I'm right-handed. That's how I crochet, is right-handed. And to be honest with you, I don't need to instruct it left-handed. It's pretty much the same. You just use your opposite hand. And that's pretty much all that there is to how I hold my hook. And again, it's just a touchy-feely thing. Like whenever you're baking or cooking, or like when my husband Chris does his custom design crochet hooks, I've tried to help him, but it's like he tells me with that. It's like when I bake, it's a touchy-feely thing. You have to feel it to know it's right. So, you know, it's just that I have that control of that loop on my hook with this thumb. If I'm holding like this and try to control it with this thumb, you know, I don't have full control, because the hook has to be able to reach back further, and then the loop will slide out. And I'm not one that holds my hook way down here. I like to hold it by the handle, and I like to have, you know, control of that further back. So then, you know, I just work straight across. And that's how I use the hook in hand. Alright, now as for my tension and holding my yarn, that's a different beast. I'm not sure how I came across learning to hold it like this. It's just something that fell into place when I was younger and learning. So basically, you'll see me whenever I grab my yarn, I just grab it and it goes right into the palm of my hand. Now I've seen crocheters have it lapsed over their hand like that, and they control it by wrapping over a finger. And again, I do not have enough control over that to do it like this. I just, it makes a mess. And like I say, I could do it. I just don't want to be that slow at it, because it just doesn't work for me. And again, I've seen people wrap with their pinky and then hold their yarn like this and control it. I have no control with my pinky. So again, I just let the yarn rest in between my last two fingers. I don't squeeze it. I don't do anything to it. It just lays there, and then I grab my piece and I just hold on to the piece. And if you see, it's just laying there. And then the control comes in between these two fingers here. So then if I just start single crocheting, I pull it as I need it. I'm not squeezing my fingers here to control it. The control comes from this hand actually. So when I'm working, if I don't want to pull it, I won't pull it. If I want to pull it, I'll pull it. You know, if I want to make it a really loose loop like that, then I'll pull it more. If I want to make it tight, then, and if it's not tight enough, then I'll take it and pull it on that left hand, which I'll just jerk it. Other than that, all I'm doing is just pretty much controlling everything with my hook hand, which is what I'm calling it. The hook, the hand that holds the hook. Other than that, it's just resting, and you see it's just laying right over the top of those three fingers, but in between my two first fingers. Other than that, there's really, which is why I don't have a problem with tension, because I don't apply any force to this. It just lays there. Now, depending on the stitch, I will sometimes have to squeeze my fingers on the end of it. It just depends on the stitch. But if I'm just barely working, and then I'm just doing a single crochet, as you see, if I can just turn it, and you see me drawing the yarn right through here, my fingers, all it's doing is just being a guide. You know, and if I let those go, I do not have control over that yarn or my tension. Do you see how bulky that stitch just come out? So if I do that again, you see the stitch is just going to come out bulky. But now if I grab that yarn back put everything into place, my stitches just come out very, very even. And there will be times where they come out loose sometimes. Then all I do is just do a light pull right here. These fingers here have nothing to do with that. These are just acting sort of like if you were threading a needle and you have the head of the needle. Sort of like if you have this needle and you're threading your thread through here, this is just nothing more than a guide just to barricade that yarn in there. That's all these two fingers here are doing. So pretty much that's just all there is to it, and how I hold and how I guide and how I manage my tension. But this has been since I was 8 years old. Now I mind you, I haven't done it before these last 4 years, 4.5 years. When I was 8 years old is when I learned to make a chain, and that was it. But then 4 years ago, I picked it up whenever I was put out of work due to some serious back problems, and said I couldn't just sit around and do nothing. So I went back to my childhood roots and said, hey, I can crochet. Let me see where this will take me. So I just started crocheting, turned it into a business, and I have been going ever since. But this is just the way that I always remembered it. Sort of like everyone says, when you learn to ride a bike, you never forget. And same thing with how I hold my hook and my yarn. I never forgot how to do that. So that's pretty much all I know to tell you, all I know to show you. It gives me the really quick speed that I need to do my projects and that I'm satisfied with. So I do not change it. And again, another old saying is, don't try to fix something if it's not broke. So it works for me. And whatever method or combination of methods that you choose to use it. If it works, use it. Don't worry if it's not how this person does it or how it's shown in this book. Use what works for you, as long as it is getting the job done, because everybody has their own techniques and own ways of figuring things out and how things work for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was helpful for those of you that has messaged me over the years. And until next video, guys, happy hooking!